Microphone is now unmuted.
Are we good?
So just hit the right arrow and hit it again. Right there.
Do we get to edit out the police before we start the meeting?
Pause it if you're not.
I'm not worried about it. All right.
Okay. Yeah, you can use that or you can use it.
Okay. So are we on and our voices are being recorded?
Correct.
Okay.
Sorry for the line.
Thank you very much for wandering by. So welcome to this meeting of the Cemetery Board. I'm Dan Shapiro, I'm Secretary of State Cesar Browse is designated as chair.
Bob Welch, Dr. Shaw, representing the Commissioner of the Department of Health.
Chris Wiles, representing the Attorney General, Eric Schneiderman.
I'm going to go around the table. Rich?
Richard Fishman, Director, Division of Cemeteries.
Chuck Buckwitz, Assistant Director, Division of Cemeteries.
Mike Thielman, Senior Investigator, Division of Cemeteries.
And we have a new director of the Consumer Protection Division.
Yes, Aisha Battle.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm glad that you're here. Get to see the fun world of cemeteries from a consumer perspective. It's great.
Suzanne Dressel, Clerk, Division of Cemeteries.
Tony Malino, Counsel to the Cemetery Board.
Great. All right, we have, Aisha, I'm sorry to say, probably the shortest agenda I've ever seen on the cemetery board.
I can stretch it out.
No, Richard, thank you, but your services are not required in that respect. But why don't we get right to it? Have folks had an opportunity to review the minutes from the prior meeting? Yes. Any comments, changes?
No?
Comment exchange, maybe, I just need clarification.
Yep.
Under the division's report on the bottom, middle of the paragraph, maybe the sentence does mean something, but it's not connected with me. Frederick Douglass has only a few hundred lots to sell and poor record of burials, making reclamation of lots unlikely.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, what that means, lot reclamation, after 75 years, and I'm probably going to get the law wrong, but after 75 years, if there are no folks to care for, nor demonstrate any connection to the lot, a cemetery can, without disturbing remains, if it's a multiple lot or something like that, reclaim the lots for resale. You can't do that. You can't do that unless, of course, you have absolutely precise records as to the location of the lots and the history. So having a poor record of burials, you can never go and do any kind of reclamation. Reclamation is a way for cemeteries, of course, who have pretty much sold out to start selling again.
Okay, that's fine. My question was having the lots to sell and reclamation.
Oh, and the connection there?
Yeah.
Yeah. How about, I understand. So Frederick's only a few lots to sell. Additionally, it
has a poor record of, poor records, should be records.
its records of burials are poorly maintained, poorly maintained, making reclamation of lots unlikely. How's that?
And they got a few hundred lots to sell, right?
Yeah. Which in a few months. Yeah. Not good. Okay. Very good. Good catch. Okay. Yeah, they were good minutes. I don't even have any snarky comments to make. So very nice.
Oh, we missed those snarky comments.
Yeah, those snarky. All right. Mr. Melillo, legislation and regulation.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Motion to approve?
I'll move.
Okay. Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Hopefully you've had a chance to look at the legislation report that was sent out yesterday. One bill has passed the Senate. This is amending the penal law regarding crime of desecration of a veteran's plot. This is Senate 283. No action in the Assembly, though.
Okay.
And then there's a couple additions on the last page. Number 10 is Assembly 3514A, which would add another degree to the crime of cemetery desecration. And then we actually have something in the budget bill regarding veteran cemeteries.
Yes. Why don't you describe that so folks know?
It really is.
It's quite a long section, part of it deals with setting up a fund. Another part allows for tax deductions if you contribute to this fund. But then the meat of it is about investigating the establishment of a New York State Veterans Cemetery, which has to be, there are specific timelines for this investigation to occur, of a report to the governor and the legislature, and then actual receiving proposals from local governments to establish a veterans cemetery in their jurisdiction. And I think right now this bill proposes just a first veterans cemetery. And it also proposes that the cemetery would be on public land, state-owned land, and there would be a new board set up to oversee just that veterans cemetery.
So when you say proposed, is that if we get state-owned land, is that an absolute requisite, or is it just guidance? I mean, what's the nature of that?
I think if it's not going to be on state-owned land, the jurisdiction that's proposing it has to justify it. So
I mean, we've had conversations at board level in the past, and Rich, I'm sure, was going to comment on this deal in Thunder. Rich has been a proponent of allowing veterans cemetery, if you will, or cemeteries to be established within existing Article 15 cemeteries for a number of reasons, for the health of the cemetery industry generally, you know,
right,
as well as for the efficiencies that would be generated by that. And this doesn't preclude that.
I think it might, because
You think it might? Okay.
it refers to it as being a cemetery for veterans only. So I'm not sure if it can be part of a cemetery that is not for veterans.
Dedicated section. Well, in any event.
I'm not sure. I have to
Yeah.
look into more detail.
Is there a dollar number that they're talking about in this bill?
Yes, but there are also federal monies that they're going to apply for
Oh.
to help offset the cost.
Oh, okay.
But I should also add, I've been told by our legislative council that this only exists in the Senate budget bill.
There's no
The Assembly is not.
counterpart. Yeah.
Who's sponsoring this?
I don't think I have. It's a budget bill, so well, maybe it has a sponsor. No, it's buried within the
Right.
whole budget bill. So he thinks it's just going to get chopped out because it's not going to be, it's not supported by both houses right now.
All right. Well, it's something to, I mean, look, this issue has been out there for a decade, and will probably continue. We'll see how it goes. All right. Anything else, Tony?
That's it.
And I will allow you to say that you'll have your recommendations with respect to precious metals.
Right. And actually, Mike Seaman has just this week given me some information about what's going on in the state of Washington. That they have they deal with this issue. So I will at the next meeting have a report.
I know you've been busy. Okay. All right. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Mr. Fishman.
Oh, that's right. Well, let's deal with this veterans thing first.
I thought I did.
No, because there's more. No, it needs to be more.
Yeah, okay.
First of all, I would recommend that the enormous report that was done, submitted to the legislature back at least, how long ago was that site commission? 8 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it was. That was all done and submitted to the legislature on the whole issue, so.
Well, that's good. You know, Rich, I actually don't recall, we compiled that?
No, the commission, the Bureau of Veterans Affairs.
Oh, my
Put it
goodness,
together.
yeah. Yeah, we should, that deserves to be unearthed.
Yeah.
All right, do you have a copy?
I never got a copy. They sent me a draft. They never sent me the final copy, but I know there was one, and the Veterans Affairs put it together and submitted it to the legislature.
Yeah, Tony, let's see if we can find that.
It was about 8 years ago.
Yeah, time just flies with this.
You should unearth your draft even if we haven't got a
I'll
final.
try to find it.
Yeah, we'll- like-
Because one of the these are recommendations,
Yeah.
and one of the recommendations was using existing.
Yep, now I recall. Yep.
But going along that track, we were just informed that the federal government, through the auspices of Senator Schumer, who pushed for this, has now purchased approximately 200 acres outside of Buffalo to establish a veterans cemetery. They don't need 200 acres, given the cremation rate, but they want to, so somebody sold them 200 acres, and they expect within 3 years to have this done, which is going to be cataclysmic to cemeteries, especially the small ones. And we tried to have meetings. We petitioned the senator's office. We were supposed to set up meetings at certain cemeterians, and then went down to Washington to meet with the Veterans Administration. It was all supposed to be arranged to discuss implications and what they could do, and that never happened. So now we're told they bought the. They've been trying for about 3 years to buy land, and finally they did. So that's in the future. I mean, they're very slow. Most of the World War II people who have already been gone, and most of the Korean people too. So it's a fact of life, and I just think we're in deep trouble. Western New York is in deep trouble in any way, and now it's going to be.
Let's, all right, we'll pursue this from a divisional level, all right?
Okay, so, as I said last time, we are moving ahead with taking over a couple of cemeteries in Staten Island. Washington Cemetery is taking over Asbury Cemetery. And Tony needed some additional information. I don't know if you got it yet, but.
Not yet. I've also suggested to them that they consider doing an abandonment rather than a merger. It might be easier, but we'll see. They're going to get back to it.
Okay, and I guess that was my second point. We have another one that woodland in Staten Island is going to be abandoned, and I had meetings with Silvermount, which is next to it, and they're going to take it over. So that's probably going to be an abandonment also.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I'm very happy that we have that statute in there, because in the cities especially, that's very helpful, because otherwise we couldn't do anything. And the other issue that's on the agenda, we've had requests from some cemeteries. Some want to set up 501c3s, friends of the cemetery, for fundraising purposes. And we've also got requests from some cemeteries who already have 501c3 friends of to move cemetery funds into the 501c3 for whatever purposes.
I don't understand. Moving cemeteries, what does that mean?
General fund monies from the cemetery's accounts into the 501c3.
Why would a cemetery do that?
Well, that's why I think it's an issue.
Oh, okay. I'm saying, what the heck is he advocating now?
I'm not advocating it.
No,
I'm
okay,
just saying
that's-
this is,
all right.
we've been getting these calls, and,
Wow.
I mean, my first reaction is no.
Yeah.
So what about why?
Yeah, well, that
Well,
would be a good question.
why the no, or?
No, why? Why wouldn't why come before no?
Well, one fella indicated it's like seed money, to start it going, And I guess when you put up the thing, you're fundraising, you paid the $20,000, you already got the 20, and you're gonna move on up. I'm just kidding, I don't know if that's true.
They didn't give you a why.
They didn't give me one. So I think just from and I don't know if there's a tax issue there, one's moving cemetery funds into.
Well, some cemeteries believe that they would get bigger or greater grants or donations. Like particularly other foundations or estates, when they're giving donations, think that they're clear in getting a deduction on their tax return if they're giving a 501c3 versus 501c13.
I understand that, but the So what you're positing is that the cemetery itself is going to fund and start up the not-for-profit 501c3 in order to generate
On
what they
occasion,
think is a
Like
revenue
leverage,
raising.
like, it's like leveraging.
Yeah, I don't
on occasion,
know.
it's happened where a cemetery has funded the establishment of the foundation, but what Rich is talking about is different.
Well, I don't know if it is or
Well,
isn't, but
When we were dealing with Maple Grove, one of the issues was that Maple Grove was using its funds for charitable purposes. And I recall doing research at the time as to whether a not-for-profit could do that, or cemetery specifically. I don't remember what, I do remember researching it, I don't remember what I came up with. So I'll have to look back. There's definitely an issue there of
yeah.
not-for-profit using its funds for.
Maybe one of our experts in the audience can address that. In fact, does anybody have any?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw you like jumping in the seat. So.
Well, you know,
Mr. Fleming. From
Thank
New
you.
York State
Yeah,
Cemetery
from the New York
Cemetery.
Association of Cemeteries. There is a diversity of these organizations in the state, and I think one of your able counsel on the board said, you know, why not look at, instead of saying no, what's behind it? And I think this is one of those instances where, as a responsibility of the board, it's not to talk at the industry, but talk with the industry. And I think there are varying degrees of success of some of these foundations, and they are set up in a variety of ways, and they are extremely beneficial to a number of cemeteries, which part of our effort is to preserve these cemeteries. And they are very successful. I think there is a lot to be learned by having a conversation with some of these groups, particularly some of the cemetery associations that you are regulating. I think it would be worthwhile to have a conversation with them about how they've set them up and what they do. And I can tell you that in my experience, the ones that I know of and the ones I've worked with add tremendously to the fundraising power of a cemetery to preserve them in perpetuity, and that's the goal. And it's not about, you know, making money to make money. It's about preserving the cemetery. So,
But you're suggesting that, in fact, cemeteries right now are establishing via their own funds, all right? Basically, it's a wholly held
I'm not
subsidiary,
suggesting that at all.
not-for-profit.
It's nothing to stop.
I mean, that was the question that Rich had.
Well,
right?
whether or not it's accurate is another
Yeah.
story.
No, I didn't
Whether
say
or not
what.
someone provides a contribution to another charitable organization, and I would have to look at the statute, but I find that extremely difficult to believe that, like, charities cannot contribute to each other to help, especially when there's a specific support of the organization that's contributing money. We'd like to have a conversation.
Yeah, no, we've always supported and suggested that a not-for-profit friends of kinds of organizations are very beneficial for cemeteries. Nobody's arguing that they aren't, all right? But, no, of course we're going to look into it.
But I would just ask that we have a conversation with the people who are actually doing it, as opposed to just things that are being reported by other people who may.
I'd make a flip comment, but I won't. Of course.
Well,
Well,
there's
the-
another
the-
side of the story, which I ran into. I'm with a cemetery, but with one of these little libraries. And the friends got a bequest and a will for a specific purpose. And the library wanted the money. And then they started fighting, and they all, you know, got their attorneys. And part of the money, of course, went there. But the result was that the friends disappeared, and the library lost its support, or has to start again with another group. They tend to, in these situations, get all galvanized. And now, I don't know, you know, that was a particular situation, but it in which I was in the middle of and tried to get out, but it made me start to think about, we got to look carefully at what the certificates of incorporation say,
Absolutely, yeah.
what the bylaws say, and make sure that the monies go where they're supposed to go. Those monies ended up with the community foundation, and the community foundation then will decide where the number goes. They're just afraid about.
Yeah,
what the
most of the
monies are.
501c3s that are getting set up are because 501c3s can only give to another 501c3. So since cemeteries were 13s, they were having trouble getting grants for historic preservation and things like that. And a number of the larger historic cemeteries set them up so that they could grant write and do things to get money that's mostly outside of their operational issues in terms of preserving family plots and buildings and the trees and things like that. So
Well, the concern for us was we did have at least two instances I know where it's more what Mr. Wiles was referring to, where the foundation and the cemetery operators, kind of galvanized, sort of against each other a little bit because I don't know if it was just personalities, bumping heads, whatever. I mean, I don't know, but and then they turned to division, for guidance to try to rectify it as well. First and foremost, we protect the cemeteries, so we're going to look to make sure that nothing harms that entity. But the real question is, we don't have any oversight over the foundations. We have no ability to look at their books and records to make sure that if they do receive bequests or benefits and things like that. So who has oversight over the foundations?
You're looking at it right here.
And so, while it could be a positive thing, it could very,
Well, we have a case between a foundation and a cemetery, small cemetery. And in this case, the foundation people are more together than the cemetery people. And it'd be nice if the foundation people became the cemetery people, but the foundation people have the money, and the cemetery doesn't have the money. So it's
In the course of
it's
human
pain in the neck.
interaction.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. This conversation's been really ranged. We started this off with cemeteries transferring its general fund to a not-for-profit.
Yes, well, that's
which is, and I still say no. All right, I'm sorry, but to that scenario, but to a general discussion of the issues. There's no question that there are a lot of friends of. They're very beneficial and helpful. They're necessary.
Well, I think in the Maple Grove case was more of the money laundering.
Well,
the
monies were going to school districts.
Well, that's what I mean.
Other things going on.
It was
flowing through the.
But
There was no rhyme or reason.
with respect to your initial inquiry, let's find out what's going on.
Well, then I would ask the association to submit to us, who all doing this.
We would be happy to have, you are quite aware of.
Some of them, but not all.
And we'd be happy to have a conversation because I don't want to throw the baby out with the
Yeah,
bathwater.
and what's going on, I mean, but my specific example, all right? If that specific example, if we suspect that there's craziness going on, that's what I want you to look at. I mean, aside from a wide-ranging discussion, let's focus on that and why you brought it to us, all right? What's going on in that cemetery? All right.
Okay. Mike, you got anything?
Nothing I can think of. We're doing the crematory inspections. We're getting really good results. There's a high percentage of perfect authorization forms, much better than it was last year. And we're still in the middle of that.
Yeah. And we're speaking to the field directors. In fact, I am speaking to a bunch of them in White Plains tomorrow. They still resent the form, but they're doing it.
They're doing it.
Because the crematories are on the hook if they don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's holding tight. And it's working.
Oh, it's working. It's working. That's good news. All right. Check.
Oh.
Vandalism.
So far for the fiscal year ending March 31st, 2013, vandalism fees collected were $136,722. Applications granted were $652,359. And applications pending are $499,914.
Okay.
Of the granted applications, 4 were for vandalism, 33 were for restoration, and 1 was for abandonment.
Okay. Thank you. All right, we have two dangerous monument applications pending. Alger Cemetery in Mount Pleasant. Any questions on either one of those? I have none. Want to do a motion?
That we approve.
Second? All in favor, say aye. Well, as I said, this was a short agenda, and it really is. So this is the time we limit our public portion, and now I'd like to open it up, see if anybody would like to address us with any concerns.
Well, I was curious why I wasn't still on the agenda.
You're on when you come back with the appraisal, you know what?
Well, I wasn't aware that the meeting was today until yesterday, so our appraisal's going to come this afternoon.
Send it in to us, all right, can you PDF it?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
Say,
send it into Richard Bichette, all right, and you guys will distribute it, Tony, I want you to take a look at it.
Okay.
We will,
You see, your next meeting's not till 45 days.
I'm hearing you, so here's what I'm telling you,
Okay.
all right?
Thank you.
So, we'll circulate that to the board,
Okay.
all right, and, I'll tell you what, we recall this issue, right? This is the purchase of land in light of a long-term strategy to acquire the properties on Teal Avenue and convert them to those properties to cemetery use, either as a buffer or for burial. You're actually looking for the improvements in that way. One in a succession of many purchases which the board has approved. The issue was that the appraisal that was submitted when this first started was 2 years old?
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Something like that?
Yeah.
All right, and we determined, and I think appropriately so, that it needed to be updated. And in fact, now you're telling us that it has been. Did we have any issues? And if we did, we did. Did we have any issues with respect to the ultimate aim with the purchases thing?
No, I think the minutes reflect, it was just basically appraised.
So if the appraisal, if the appraisal is circulated and opinion of council is that everything's in order, would we be in approval mode?
Contingentally approved.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm getting at, all right? So,
That would be wonderful.
I
Very much appreciate it.
Yeah, that's not a problem, because we've
Yeah,
done
I
this
understand.
before on this property. So then I can make a motion that contingent upon council's recommendation and board satisfaction with the updated appraisal, which will be circulated prior to the next meeting, that we approve.
Can I suggest that someone motion to amend the agenda to include this matter onto it?
So moved. Okay?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, so we'll review
Thank you,
that.
Mr. Chairman.
If
I
there's a
very
problem,
much
we'll get back to you.
You actually vote on the motion?
Yeah, they did.
I heard a second.
All in favor, say aye. I can't hear you. No, okay,
So-
very good.
Send it in, sign it,
Would that be
circulate.
like 13 F22, we would add a whole nother
Yes.
chapter as well?
Yeah.
No.
I think so.
You're done with
What's
it?
it?
I am
Thanks.
done with this witness. Okay.
When do you expect to get the written appraisal?
Is-
It's supposed to be emailed to me by the end of today.
Oh,
Today?
this is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
so I will get it to him first time.
That's fine.
Cute.
Mr. Fleming?
David Fleming from the New York State Association of Cemeteries. Just two quick issues. One is, I understand the division has lost staff over the years and significantly reduced staff and has a difficult time just doing what is given to them by the legislature and the executive. But I would request formally on behalf of the New York State Association of Cemeteries that anytime that there is a meeting change or if there's a meeting scheduled, that you could at least let us know. The division or the board has decided to have these meetings in Albany, and you've been doing so consistently. And we didn't receive word of this meeting being changed until yesterday. And as a result, we have people who make hotel reservations who have changed their schedules to be in Albany because you represent the entire state of New York. So we have folks coming from Western New York. Many of them were not able to be here today because they were not able to change their schedules at the last minute.
That's a very fair comment. I wasn't aware of that. That
Oh,
was
it's an oversight on my part. I mean,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah, it would just be helpful if we could, if you just don't notified me, I know that I'm not the only one in the world, but we
Right.
do email out to all of
There's,
our members.
and there's an email list which the division maintains of likely suspects, if you will, and there's no question that should be done, so, yeah, my apologies.
Well, and whether you don't know this or not, but Featherstone Hall, Wiley and Klein is now our association management firm for the New York State Association of
I
Cemeteries.
did know that.
Well, I just want to make sure. So they truly are our representatives in more than one way now. So they will be able to get to all the membership and all cemeteries for that matter if need be.
My only other item, and I won't keep you, is that just on behalf of Mr. Bruns, who's not here, I would like to
He
note
was
that
paid his vandalism fund on time, I wanted to add.
the applications granted and the applications pending for this fiscal year are about $1.1 million, and the legislature in its benevolence, with, I assume, the help of the executive, has allocated $500,000 to the payment of these fees.
Mhm.
And I was wondering what the board's position was on whether or not applications would be paid. Approved applications would be paid.
That's right, and what I will tell you is that irrespective of what the approach is, all right, and this has happened in the past, right, same situation.
I realize it's 2013 and Mr. Bruns is not here, but I'm sure he'll be watching.
The board will continue to review application and approve those that are meritorious, and to my knowledge, no application that has been approved has ever gone unpaid, and I expect that to continue.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Chet, along Dave's lines, so when is the next meeting?
The next meeting is actually going to be held at the NISAC conference at the end of April, I believe.
April 29th.
29.
So, and we usually present on the first day, right?
Yeah, it's actually going to be in the morning for you, just about the same time,
Oh, good. That works.
at the Albany Marriott.
In light of the short agenda. this-
Marriott.
Marriott.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yes.
On Wolf Road?
Yes.
Okay. In light of the short agenda this time.
Yeah.
I'm
We have a long
expecting we have a
agenda.
long agenda. But so your membership will get to see the board in
Correct.
real
As
action.
usual, we're inviting the full membership, and then we're having a buffet lunch right after that, so we'll get some invited as well.
So now that meeting, sometimes it's in the morning, sometimes it's in the afternoon. We have, where are we on the agenda?
In the morning.
In the morning. We'll be first up.
10:30?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll be distributing a full agenda.
Okay.
As usual.
And you've allocated essentially the balance of that morning to us?
Yeah.
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 Well, I think we'll
I
actually
think
take it
it's
up.
2
Yeah.
hours.
I think last year it was pretty short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this, I mean, even our review was short. But this year, we'll have some stuff.
Great.
Maybe we should just like not act on your application so you can bring it to the membership. Is that all right?
Let me call Mr. Braun.
All right.
No, thank you very much for that.
So that's a Monday?
Yes.
Yes, Monday, yeah. I'll be back from Vegas. Now, if I hit it big, I will be back.
Take me with you. All right, so, well, that being said, no more comments being had. We will take a 5-minute break and then go into executive session. I'll motion to go into executive session for investigative or litigative matters. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Executive session having concluded, I will motion to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everybody.